Most people don't have a goal problem, they have a clarity problem. They don't know what they want, and then they wonder why they don't get it. You can't hit a target you can't see. If your goal is make more money or get in shape, you've already lost. You need to be specific. How much money? By when? What does in shape actually look like for you? Your goals have to be so clear that if I handed them to a stranger, they'd know exactly what. Your ambiguity is the enemy of achievement. But clarity alone won't carry you. Your goals have to be charged. They have to be tied to something that lights a fire in you. You can't just want success because it looks good on Instagram. You need a reason that makes you cry, a reason that wakes you up early and keeps you up late, a reason rooted in legacy, in purpose, and impact, because when the pain of discipline shows up, and it will, only your why can carry you through. Motivation is a spark, but purpose is fuel. You want goals that don't just live in your mind, but live in your spirit. And here's where most people mess up. They dream big, but they plan small. Or worse, they don't plan at all. I'm telling you, dream bigger. Scare yourself. Stretch your vision. Don't just ask, what can I do this year? Ask, what could I do if I actually gave my life to this? And then once that vision is crystal clear, reverse engineer it, break it down, shrink it into actionable, measurable, trackable steps. Don't just write build a business. Write launch a product by July 15 with 100 customers by August 30. A goal without a strategy is a fantasy. You've got to measure what matters. You can't just set it and forget it. You've got to track your progress like your future depends on it, because it does. If you're not reviewing your goals weekly, you're not serious. If you don't have numbers, metrics, and milestones, you're playing games. You can't improve what you don't inspect. The scoreboard must stay visible. Progress is proof you're on the right path, or that it's time to adjust. But here's a powerful shift. Don't just set goals based on what you want. Set goals based on who you are becoming. Your identity is the thermostat of your success. If you want different results, you need to become a different person. A person with the discipline to follow through, the courage to commit, the mindset to grind even when it's uncomfortable. When your goals match your character, consistency becomes automatic. You don't chase the goal, you embody the result. And finally, stop giving yourself forever. Time is not your enemy, it's your edge. Use it. Set deadlines, not dreams. Give your goals a date and make it non-negotiable. When the clock is ticking, your hustle gets louder. Too many people say someday, but someday isn't on the calendar. You need to move with urgency. Every day you delay is a day you donate to mediocrity. So if you really want goals that work, goals that move you forward, goals that manifest into results, get clear, get emotional, get strategic, get measurable, get aligned, and get urgent. Don't just set goals that command your commitment. Because the truth is this: the right goal, backed by the right reason, executed with the right strategy, and pursued by the right version of you, will not fail. I'll go write your goal. Then go become the person who can't live without achieving it. Clarity is power. When you know exactly what you want, everything changes. The way you think changes. The way you move changes. The decisions you make begin to align with your direction. Most people never reach their goals because they never actually define them. They're walking through life like it's a maze with no map. Reacting, guessing, hoping. But hope is not a strategy. You can't afford to be vague about your future. Success doesn't respond to confusion, it responds to precision. If you tell me your goal is to be successful, I'll ask you, what does that mean? If your goal is to make more money, how much, by when, doing what? Vague language creates vague behavior, and vague behavior produces vague results, if any at all. Clarity cuts through that fog. It creates a target, and the sharper that target is, the more focused your energy becomes. When you're clear, you're not easily distracted. You don't waste time chasing things that don't move you forward. You stop saying yes to every opportunity because you know what you're aiming for. You develop tunnel vision, not in the sense that you're blind to the world, but in the sense that you're locked in on your mission. Distraction dies in the presence of clarity. Clarity also creates confidence. When you have a clearly defined goal, you're not guessing anymore, you're executing. You don't wake up wondering what to do, you wake up knowing what needs to be done. And that kind of direction, it's magnetic. It pulls resources, relationships, and opportunities toward you because people can sense when someone is serious. People follow certainty. The world opens up for those who move with intention. So if you're tired of spinning your wheels, if you're sick of setting goals that go nowhere, the first step is not working harder. It's getting clearer. Define the outcome. Picture it in detail. Put numbers on it. Put dates on it. Make it real in your mind before it becomes real in your life. Because until your goal is clear, your grind will always be scattered. And scattered effort leads to scattered results. Clarity is not just a concept, it's a weapon. And if you learn to use it, nothing can stop you. Goals must be emotionally charged. If your goal doesn't make you feel something, it will never make you do something. Too many people set goals from their head, but not from their heart. They write down what sounds good, what looks impressive, what fits the mold. But if your goal doesn't ignite a fire in your soul, it won't survive the friction of adversity. Logic sets goals. Emotion chases them. You've got to want it deep enough that the thought of not having it makes you uncomfortable. You have to attach your goals to something personal, something that hits you at your core. A number in your bank account won't get you up at 4 a.m., but retiring your mother will. Losing 10 pounds won't keep you disciplined, but proving to yourself that you're not who you used to be will. It's not the goal itself, it's what the goal means to you. People quit on goals because they're not emotionally connected to them. When it gets hard, and it will get hard, your brain will offer you 1,000 reasons to back down. The only thing that overrides that logic is a reason that lives in your gut, a reason that brings tears to your eyes when no one's watching, a reason that's not just about income, but impact, a reason that reminds you that you're meant for more. This is why you must go beyond surface level goals. You have to dig deep. Ask yourself, why do I want this? What will it do for me? What will it do for my family? What pain am I trying to end? What future am I trying to build? Tie your goals to your vision, your pain, your passion. Because when your goals are emotionally charged, you won't need willpower, you'll have drive. And here's the truth, when your why is strong, your how shows up. You'll find a way because you're not just chasing a goal, you're chasing freedom. You're chasing change. You're chasing a future that looks nothing like your past. That emotional charge, that's your power source. Plug into it every single day. Keep it in front of you. Let it fuel you. Because when your goals have your heart, your habits will follow. Think big, then plan small. That's the formula. Most people do the opposite. They either think too small and plan too vaguely, or they think big but never break it down. Dreaming big is essential, but dreaming without planning is just a fantasy dressed in ambition. You need vision, but you also need structure. The key is to stretch your imagination while grounding your strategy. Thinking big means you stop limiting yourself based on your current resources, your current skills, or your current circumstances. It means you don't ask, what can I do with what I have, but instead, what would I do if I wasn't afraid? You give yourself permission to imagine the life you actually want, not the one you've settled for. That dream, that big goal should intimidate you a little. If it doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. If it doesn't challenge your identity, your comfort, and your capacity, then it won't change your life. But once you've got that big vision, the next step is to reverse engineer it, break it down, shrink it into steps so small that even your laziest self couldn't make an excuse not to start. Planning small doesn't mean thinking small. It means building a bridge from where you are to where you want to go. That bridge is built one brick at a time. When you try to leap across the whole thing, you fail. But when you stack small wins, they become momentum. So if your goal is to make $1 million, the question becomes, what business or skill will get me there? What does that look like per year, per month, per day? What actions can I take today that move me 1 inch closer? If your goal is to write a book, don't focus on finishing a manuscript, focus on writing 1 page a day. That's planning small. And when small actions are repeated with discipline, they produce big outcomes. The problem is, people get overwhelmed by the size of their vision because they never broke it down into manageable parts. But overwhelm is just the absence of structure. When you plan small, you take the weight off your shoulders and put it on your calendar. You stop wishing and start executing. Small plans make massive goals digestible and therefore doable. So yes, think big. See yourself beyond your limitations. Imagine the life you were created for, but don't stop there. Don't let the size of your dream paralyze your movement. Bring that dream down to earth with a strategy that makes progress inevitable. Think big enough to change your life. Plan small enough to start today. Measure what matters. Because if you're not measuring it, you're not managing it. And if you're not managing it, you're just guessing. And guesswork doesn't build empires. It doesn't create freedom. It doesn't produce excellence. Measurement is the mirror that reflects your truth. It shows you if you're moving forward, falling behind, or standing still. And too many people avoid that mirror because they're afraid of what it might reveal. But if you want results, you have to face your reality daily. You can't just set a goal, walk away, and hope it works out. You need feedback. You need data. You need checkpoints. You need scoreboard visibility, because what gets measured gets improved. It's not enough to say, I want to lose weight. How much? By when? What's your daily calorie intake? What's your progress each week? If your goal is financial freedom, then how much are you saving? How many offers are you making? How many calls are you closing? Vague effort equals vague results. Precision leads to progress. Measurement creates accountability. When you track your actions, your excuses shrink. You can't lie to yourself when the numbers are right in front of you. Numbers don't care about how you feel. They tell the truth. And the truth is either going to push you forward or wake you up, but either way, it's a gift. You can't improve in the dark. You need the lights on. You need metrics that matter. But don't just track activity, track effectiveness. It's not about being busy, it's about being productive. You can work 10 hours a day and still be broke if you're measuring the wrong thing. Focus on lead indicators, not just lag results. If your goal is to grow a business, track the actions that generate revenue, not just the revenue itself. If your goal is to get stronger, track your workouts, not just your weight. If your goal is to build habits, track consistency, not just outcomes. You've got to review your numbers frequently, weekly at minimum, daily if you're serious. Because every number tells a story, and it's your job to make sure that story ends in success. When the data is off, don't get emotional, get intentional, adjust the plan, refocus the energy, double down on what's working, and kill what's not. That's how you grow. Measuring what matters isn't just about discipline, it's about direction. It's how you steer the ship. It's how you course correct before you crash. And when you make measurement a non-negotiable habit, you turn your goals from ideas into outcomes. You stop hoping and you start building. Line goals with identity, because if your goals don't match who you believe you are, you'll sabotage yourself every single time. You can set the most powerful goal in the world, but if deep down you see yourself as someone who always quits, someone who doesn't follow through, someone who's not worthy of success, you'll find a way to fall short. Not because the goal was wrong, but because the identity didn't match the destination. Your identity is the thermostat for your life. It sets the limit on what you believe you can achieve. You can hustle, grind, and outwork everybody, but if your internal settings are programmed for average, you'll keep pulling yourself back down every time you try to rise. That's why real transformation starts on the inside. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your self-image. So if you want different results, you have to become a different person. That's why your goals must not only be about what you want to get, but about who you want to become. You want $1 million? That's great. But are you becoming the kind of person who manages money well, solves real problems, creates massive value, and leads with integrity? Because if you don't become that person, even if you get the money, you won't keep it. You want to lose weight? Awesome. But are you becoming the person who eats clean, trains consistently, and values their health at the core of their identity? Otherwise, you'll bounce back to old habits the moment things get tough. When your identity aligns with your goal, action becomes natural. You're no longer trying to do something, you're just doing what someone like you would do. There's no friction, there's no resistance. A runner runs, a leader leads, a finisher finishes. You don't have to force it when it's who you are. And here's the shift. Stop saying, I'm trying to reach this goal, and start declaring, this is who I am. Identity is built through repetition. Every time you show up, even in a small way, you're casting a vote for the person you're becoming. So don't just chase the outcome. Build the character that can sustain the outcome. Because the right identity doesn't just help you reach the goal, helps you keep it, grow it, and repeat it. When your goals align with your identity, you don't need motivation. You operate from conviction, and conviction always wins. Use time as a tool, not a crutch. Too many people treat time like they've got an unlimited supply, like it's always going to be there, like someday is a real strategy. But time doesn't wait for you. It doesn't pause because you're uncertain. It doesn't slow down because you're not ready. Every day you delay is a day you'll never get back. The clock is ticking whether you move or not. The difference is successful people use time, everyone else wastes it. When you use time as a tool, you create deadlines, you set finish lines, you give your goals structure. Time becomes your accountability partner. It becomes a force that sharpens your focus and tightens your discipline. A goal with no deadline is just a wish. You've got to set dates and treat them like contracts. When you put a timestamp on your goal, you activate urgency. And urgency is the engine of execution. But when time becomes a crutch, you start saying things like, I'll do it later, when I'm ready, or eventually. And that mindset is a trap, because later turns into never. Someday becomes a graveyard for dreams. People hide behind time because they're afraid to commit, afraid to fail, or afraid to start. But the truth is, nothing changes until you change. And the best time to start is always now. Don't confuse patience with procrastination. Yes, some goals take time, but that doesn't mean you sit around and wait. You work the time. You squeeze value out of every hour. You use each day as an asset. Time is like money. If you don't budget it, it disappears. If you don't invest it wisely, you'll wake up broke. You don't need more time, you need more intensity in your time. The people who win are not the ones with the most time. They're the ones who treat time with the most respect. They don't just count the days, they make the days count. They wake up with intention. They build momentum daily. They move with urgency, not because they're panicked, but because they understand that their purpose can't wait. So stop leaning on time like it owes you something. Time is not your excuse, it's your edge. Use it to your advantage, compress it, leverage it, stack it with action, because when you treat time like a tool, you multiply your results. But when you treat it like a crutch, you multiply your regrets. The choice is yours, and the clock is already running. At the end of the day, setting goals that actually work isn't just about writing something down. It's about stepping into a version of yourself that refuses to settle. It's about clarity so sharp it cuts through confusion. It's about goals that hit you in the heart, not just look good on paper. It's about thinking bigger than your limits and then planning smaller than your excuses. It's about measuring what matters so you can stop lying to yourself and start leading yourself. It's about aligning your goals with the identity of someone who doesn't quit, doesn't fold, and doesn't back down. And above all, it's about using time, not waiting for it. You're not here to play small. You're not here to chase average. You're here to set goals that demand your growth, goals